Hi everyone, Gene here. Welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, where every single week we answer the most common and uncommon questions about tapping and EFT, so you can get the most out of your EFT practice, eliminate self-sabotage, and take the action that you want. If you have not done so already, you should sign up for our free 10-part guide on how you can use tapping to eliminate self-sabotage. There's audios, there's videos, there's instruction, there's tapping scripts. All you need to do is go to tappingqa.com, click on the big blue button. If you happen to be listening to this in the website right now, if you go up in that right-hand corner, you will see a link where you can get that free 10-part guide. This is Gene Monterestelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 365, originally aired May 29th, 2019. Hi everyone, I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today we're going to spend some time talking about and tapping on feeling like a fraud. And the reason this episode has come up is recently in a number of my client sessions, I've had folks who are trying to put themselves out in the world, sometimes professionally, sometimes personally. One of them was just speaking up at their church group, and they didn't feel qualified, and they felt like everybody in the room was going to find them out to be a fraud. Before we do that, I want to thank a bunch of folks. Again, I want to thank people all over the world who are downloading and listening to the podcast every single week. We've been thanking the people from different countries who have been downloading the podcast since the beginning of the year. This week, I would like to thank the folks in Kenya, Jamaica, Ukraine, Egypt, Pakistan, and Mozambique. Thank you for making the Tapping Q&A podcast a part of your week or a part of your day. We're glad that you are tapping along with us. I also want to thank all of the amazing sponsors of the Tapping Q&A podcast. For those of you who are sponsors over the weekend, I posted the May bonus podcast where I answer a question that came from Brad around whether we should be using first-person vocabulary or second-person vocabulary, as in, I feel stupid or you are stupid when we're tapping. It is a question that I had never pondered before, and in thinking about it, I came to some really interesting insights in how I'm already tapping on my own and tapping with my clients. So make sure you check out the donors only feed so you can get a chance to listen to that. If you are a supporter of the podcast and you can't find that, just reach out, Gene, Gene, at tappingqa.com, and I will make sure you get access to that audio. Also, those of you who are supporters of the podcast, keep an eye out. Because of the support of the podcast, we're going to start transcribing a bunch of the past interviews that we've done, and the supporters are going to get to choose a number of those interviews to be transcribed, which ones we're going to go back into the archive to do. If you'd like to receive bonus content and have a say in what's going on the website, you too can be a supporter. All you need to do is go to tappingqa.com/support. That's tappingqa.com/support, and you will receive bonus episodes and get a chance to ask questions just like Brad. When we think about feeling like a fraud, oftentimes what is happening is we are doing an unfair and inconsistent comparison between ourselves and other people. One of my favorite quotes about courage is, to the outside world, there is no difference between being brave and acting brave. Because the outside world doesn't see what's going on inside of us. They only see our actions. And there are lots of times in which I have portrayed a great sense of confidence and bravery when inside I was anything but. And that did a couple of things. One, it helped me to take action, but two, it also put me in a circumstance where it helped other people to be courageous around me because they saw me, or they thought they saw me, being courageous as well. And so we are consistently in a circumstance of recognizing the facade and the exterior of other people. But our own experience is the opposite. We do not see our exterior and to see the way that we are presenting ourselves. Instead, we see what is going on inside. We hear the doubts, we hear the questions, we feel the places where we don't know what's going on. And it creates a really, like I said, unfair comparison when we are comparing the outside the facade of everybody else to our interior monologue. Because we assume that the people around us are doing things with deliberate intent and knowing exactly what is going on, and we can hear our own questions. And so I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we feel like we are frauds when we step into a number of different situations, is because we're in that situation where we see ourselves as significantly less than the people around us because of that unjust comparison. So today I have some really simple tapping that you can do on feeling like a fraud. So to begin with, just tap into the side of your hand. Take a nice big deep breath for me. Take another nice big deep breath for me. And just move from tapping point to tapping point. I know what my interior life is like. I know the thoughts that I have. I know the feelings that I experience. I know when I am afraid to take action. I know when I am insecure about what I am doing. When I see others around me taking action, I assume they are calm. I assume they are confident. Because all that I can see is there outside. I don't know their emotional state. I don't know their internal dialogue. I don't understand their true level of confidence in the moment. When I don't understand their emotional state, and I do understand my emotional state, it's very easy for me to compare in a way that is very unfair to me. I assume they have everything together. And I know that I don't. Therefore, I feel like I don't belong. I feel like I shouldn't be respected. I feel like I have less to offer. I feel like I am a giant fraud. When I feel like a fraud, I am even more hesitant to act. Because I'm afraid I'm going to be found out. I'm afraid they're going to see me for who I truly am. I'm afraid they're going to believe less of me. The truth is, I belong. The truth is, I have things to offer. The truth is, they aren't as confident as they seem. Because they have an internal dialogue as well. They have an internal emotional state as well. When I feel like a fraud, it is because I'm doing an unfair comparison. I'm comparing their facade to my internal turmoil. That's not fair to me. Because that is not a fair comparison. I give myself permission to feel present and connected. I give myself permission to know that I belong. I give myself permission to know I have something to offer. Nice big deep breath. Now, if anything came bubbling to the surface while you were doing that, memories, thoughts, whatever, quickly, just hit pause, jot them down real quickly so you can come back to them and tap on them again and again. For me, the sense of feeling like a fraud, this was really the roots of my social anxiety and not feeling comfortable. And that's how I found my way to tapping. And even though it is something that I've done a lot of work on, from time to time, it still shows up. And it's really important that I keep reminding myself that typically when I feel like a fraud, it's because I'm not doing a fair comparison. I'm comparing everything I'm feeling and my intention to what I see other people doing, and forget that they have feelings and intentions and all of that stuff going on as well. So this is something that you can tap on regularly. If you're going someplace where you know that this sort of thing shows up, it's a professional event, it's a date, it's a particular meeting at work, take 3 or 4 minutes and just tap on this before you head into it. Remember, inside the Tapping Q&A app, which is free, which you can get for both Apple and Android devices, just go into their app stores and search it. Not only do you find this audio again, but you'll find a printed out version of this script. Just hit the text, TEXT section, and you will see a printed script that you can just tap along to. Also, on the website for episode 365, I have included a printed out version of this text. So you can print it out and tap along to it sometime in the future. This is one of those things that as you work on it, that feeling of fraud is going to show up less and less. It's not a switch that we flip, but every single place that you do not feel like a fraud, you're more likely to enjoy where you are, to get more out of it, and you're more likely to contribute more. If you know someone in your life who could use something like this, please be our ambassadors, pass it along. There are lots of people out there who I will never touch who could really use something like this, but you know them. Again, our goal here at Tapping Q&A is to get 9 new people tapping every single day. If we are doing that over the course of this calendar year, we're going to add 3,000 new tappers. 3,000 new tappers means 3,000 people who are healthier, which means the world is a better place. So just pass this along, encourage them to check this out or anything in the archive. You can check out the entire podcast archive at tappingpodcast.com. You can now access the podcast through Apple, through Google, through Spotify, through Stitcher, through Pandora. Everywhere you listen to audio, you can subscribe and follow and listen to all of these past audios absolutely free. If you have any questions about this, a topic you'd like us to cover in the future, or if you're just struggling getting the podcast on your phone, let me know. Gene, Gene, at tappingqa.com. If you are on the website, just click on that contact link up at the top. I will get the message. I love hearing from you and being able to be helpful. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrestelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrestelli, Tapping Q&A 2016. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrestelli or Tapping Q&A.